The journey to become a rapper takes a lot of hard work, passion, and motivation if you want to be on top of the rap game. A lot of artists fall in love with making music, causing them to build an insane catalog as they're coming up, with the hopes that one of their tracks blows up, leading to an influx of fans paving their way towards their music, overall cultivating a loyal fan base that will take them to new heights. Sadly, this isn't the case for every rapper within the scene. As for some, even when they gained a massive following, they were not able to keep their own career afloat. This is due to them self-sabotaging themselves from the way to the top, thus resulting in their own downfall. So today, we will be looking at 3 rappers that prevented their own success. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. The root of famousdex's drug problem could be traced as far back as to 2013, where he was seen in the background getting high in a National Geographic documentary that was about the abusive nature of Lean and X within Chicago. This issue is something that would take a toll on Dex as well as his career later down the line. Nonetheless, this did not stop his insane work ethic when it came to his craft 2 years later, in which it was only his second year of making music and he already became a notable figure within the Chirac drill scene. Within the beginning of 2015, he would drop multiple tracks which consisted of My Homies, Don't Try, Your Fault, and Never Seen It Coming, all leading up to his debut mixtape releasing on June 12, 2015. Following this tape, he immediately dropped 2 music videos for the songs No Hook Part 2 and Shooters off the project. He then released 5 additional tracks over the next few weeks. These singles also led up to another project titled Dexter's Laboratory, which circulated on October 3rd, 2015. Dex kept this momentum going by releasing The Way That I Dance, No Hook Part 3, Watch Out Remix, Do What I Do, and Drippy Drippy soon after. Then on December 9th, 2015, Dex would drop one of his hits, Drip From My Walk, which received 23.2 million views on YouTube and 23.8 million streams on Spotify. Having this newly found success would be a great way to enter 2016. He took this to his advantage too, because he would drop another tape called Drippy in the beginning of that year. Dex then dropped 3 more music videos for Bentley, Money Connoisseur, and Do It Like That. Keep in mind, this all dropped in January, which really shows how consistent he was. He would continue the consistency by releasing 3 new tracks in February. Due to all the recognition he was getting at the time, multi-platinum artist Rich the Kid would start to take notice of the young legend, thus causing him to sign famousdex to his newly found label, RichForever, on March 6, 2018. Just days after signing this deal, he dropped yet another music video titled Hit 'Em With It with Lyrical Lemonade. This would benefit both Dex and Lyrical Lemonade since they were building up their empires together. 3 days following the release of the music video, Dex dropped another mixtape, this time being under the RichForever label, called #Oh Man Goddamn. On this tape, he would start to collaborate with notable artists like Lil Yachty and his label owner Rich the Kid. Once more, he dropped another 4 music videos following this project. Then to show how dedicated he was to his artistry, on April 4th, 2016, the RichForever mixtape dropped alongside the music video for DMC, which was off the compilation project. Just 2 days after this, he released another song named I'm Great, which was followed by another 3 singles that also had music videos, with the music video for Told You being fairly significant since it was his last video in Chirac, since he took to Twitter on April 22nd, 2016, saying that LA is his home now. His main reason for moving to LA was to be closer to his label. This was fairly evident too, because he performed at multiple shows with Rich the Kid. This didn't stop him from creating music videos though, because throughout many of his videos around this time, he would reside in hotels or within the streets of California, which could be depicted in his music video for the song My Energy. A week later, it was announced that he signed to RichForever's parent label, 300 Entertainment. Dex would declare in an interview with Say Cheese that the reason for this was from his inspiration of Wayne signing Drake, so Rich signing him would be on the same caliber.
Let me tell you something. Listen. Wayne signed Drake. Look at Drake and Wayne. People better stop playing with me, bro. I don't play, bro. I'm a dog, bro. You know what I'm saying? For real, bro. On some real shit. So me and bro know what we here for.
Now, being in a joint label deal, famousdex decided to drop RichForever with Rich the Kid on WorldStar in June 2016. It will rack up 11 million views as well as 1.4 million streams on Spotify. Soon after this, he dropped his Heartbreak Kid mixtape, which also did fairly well for his size at the time. Dex then seemingly pressed on the gas pedal by dropping multiple singles following his tape, by releasing OK Dexter, Rambo, and Where featuring Go Yayo. He would also drop his song Who on the same day he released Where. What's even more insane is that 2 days later, Dex dropped yet another 2 tracks, which really expresses how motivated he was towards assembling music. Not many artists had the same consistency and hard work rate as Dex during this time, as he would deliver the singles Psycho, STFU, New K, Whoa Yeah, Feeling Good, and took time, as well as appearing in an interview with Rich the Kid, with all of this happening in August alone. Unfortunately for Dex, all the success he was receiving would come to a halt when a video of him allegedly beating his girlfriend emerged online. Naturally, this caused utter disgust amongst the public, with some people asking for Dex's shows to be cancelled. To make matters worse, XXL's editor-in-chief Vanessa Staten revealed on The Breakfast Club that the situation prevented him from appearing on the 2017 XXL freshman class.
So basically, Famous Dex didn't make it because of that video of him beating up the girl.
I guess if you want to
I'm
put
not
it
mad
that
at
way.
that.
I mean, I guess if you want to put it that way.
This was extremely detrimental towards his career, since during this time, being on the XXL freshman list was seen as a huge accomplishment by having everybody lay their eyes on you. With him losing this major opportunity, his career could have reached the next level. Not only did he lose his position on the XXL freshman class, he also lost his modeling contract for Pink Dolphin and Puma's collab. Puma would also confirm that they officially cut ties with the rapper on Twitter. Famous Dex did respond to everything going on by providing more context in a now deleted tweet that states, "Me and my girl was fighting, okay y'all? Shit happened. I'm not perfect, but God know that problem gone now." He then described how his girlfriend didn't get hurt. Dex also posted a video of him in the hospital, carrying his newborn baby, which alluded to the fact that whatever issue that the two were having seemingly got resolved. Even though all the hate he obtained was very much deserved, it didn't stop him from developing more music. By persisting with the commitment to his artistry, he slowly started having people pave their heads towards his music instead of the controversy. With Dex releasing new Yeezys, Lemonade, Broke My Back For You, Jump in the Crowd, and featuring on the song Draco with Soulja Boy, it appeared he was going to keep dropping till the end of the year, in which he did, with multiple tracks coming out within the next 2 months. Around this time, Dex's drug addiction kept growing in the background, which could be seen in the music video for Flex Up, where he's carrying multiple bottles of lean. This was seen again in the beginning of 2017, with the music video for Checkmate where Dex is depicted pouring up in a Sprite bottle. Undeterred by his ongoing addiction, the rest of 2017 would contain him increasing in his popularity, with him circulating on the No Jumper podcast, along with another song with Rich the Kid in January, ultimately having his career reach even higher. From now to November, Famous Dex would release countless of music videos, with many portraying his drug addiction slowly escalating. This eventually led into him going on Insta Live, publicizing how he officially quit codeine and showing how it put him in the hospital.
I just want to let my live know, all my fans know, that I quit codeine. I don't do the lean no more. That's on my kids. You know what I'm saying? You would never ever see me with a double cup. You know what I'm saying? It fucked me up. I'm in the hospital right now. But I feel so better. I feel so good. God is so good, y'all.
As this was happening though, one of his tracks titled Pick It Up, featuring A$AP Rocky, was gaining traction, with the music video acquiring over 64 million views on YouTube and racking up over 568 million streams on Spotify. The song would also peak at the 54th spot on the Billboard Hot 100, as well as becoming RiAA triple platinum. This was Dex's first taste of reaching mainstream audiences, by him finally taking his career to more of a commercial level. His success didn't stop here, however, because in March 2018, his biggest single to date would drop. Japan would release on March 16th, 2018, with it gathering over 141 million views on YouTube and having over 482 million streams on Spotify. This track also charted at the 28th spot on Billboard and became a RiAA double platinum record. Now, having two huge mainstream hits, it was only right for Dex to start prepping to put out his debut studio album, Dex Meets Dexter, in which he did, because the project ultimately dropped on April 6, 2018, and went on to chart at the 12th spot on the Billboard 200. The album also received a RiAA gold plaque. Unfortunately, this ended up being the peak of his career, as his drug addiction started to affect him drastically. For starters, Dex began to circulate his music less, unlike how he would have constant and consistent drops throughout his come up. Beginning with his next single off his tape, named Light featuring Drax Project, it wouldn't live up to the standards he set with his previous tracks, according to fans. In fact, the music video for this song didn't even reach 1 million views. Not only this, the official music video for Japan didn't drop until May of that year, which showed that his work ethic began slowly diminishing. This can be seen throughout the rest of the year too, because his momentum decelerated drastically. The cause of the downfall of his work ethic can be seen by the aspiring rapper. Around this time, he would broadcast himself whilst on drugs via multiple videos and IG lives. Following this, it seemed that his work ethic would rise up by him publishing multiple tracks over the next couple of months, with him dropping Money, CEO featuring Pacino, Weird Ass, Spalding, In the Bank featuring NBA Youngboy, which did fairly well, Gunfight, and Lose It, with the last two tracks fully displaying Dex's energy declining. As seen in the opening for both Gunfight and Lose It, Dex appeared to be out of it when talking. Things didn't get any better for Dex either, because on December 18th, 2018, he would seemingly fall asleep while high during his Instagram live. This resulted in the entire hip-hop scene to poke fun at Dex, with having some rappers even recreating the moment. Famous Dex did claim that he was up till 4 AM in the studio working on his craft, which overall made him tired whilst on live. Despite him mentioning this, fans clearly knew that the main reason behind the incident was the drugs. To further depict Dex losing himself to his addiction, there will be multiple occasions where he was performing questionable antics, with one of the frightening moments being him accidentally pulling out a firearm in front of students during his concert at UCL. Days after this, a TMZ article revealed that the members of Dex's team were severely concerned about his drug abuse, with the article stating that the problem, he tried getting treatment, but always circled back to drugs. It seemed to be pretty evident that Dex's career was starting to fall off during this time. To combat this, Dex decided to push the gas once more in the beginning of 2019 when he dropped My Life Crazy. Sadly, this time it wouldn't help regain his popularity because at this point in time, fans began to declare how drugs were affecting the quality of his music. It wouldn't be until April 4th, 2019 where Dex would drop his next single, Rockstar Lifestyle. Not many were too fond of the single, with it barely even reaching 677,000 views on YouTube. Following this, Famous Dex announced that he officially quit lean and Xanax in a video.
I don't do Xans, the lean. It's over with, you know what I'm saying?
The rest of 2019, Dex would attempt to build back up his reputation by releasing multiple tracks over the year as well as appearing on the RichForever mixtape. This didn't stop fans from being concerned for his health. Rightfully so, because in December his health would catch up to him when he had a seizure while performing at a concert with Rich the Kid and Jay Krish in LA. Dex's team would downplay the situation with him going on a hiatus for several months. Although, it may have seemed that this was a positive for Dex so he has time to focus and fix his health. Unfortunately, the opposite would happen because in April 2020, a video showing him sipping lean and popping pills appeared online, thus having countless fans to be disappointed in the rapper. Despite their utter disappointment, Dex's next single, What I Like featuring Rich the Kid and Tyga, dropped in April. Then he dropped again 2 months later with 5 Year Foreign, alongside him dropping once more by releasing 2 songs in 1 day. By September, it seemed as if his work ethic got completely destroyed. Nonetheless, all these releases were leading up to his documentary that was posted on his YouTube channel on October 8th, 2020. The documentary utterly revealed that Dex recently came out of rehab and overall appeared to be in much better health than the year prior. This documentary also led up to his sophomore studio album called Diana. Sadly, this project was perceived extremely poorly, with it only selling 4,000 copies first week, thus resulting in no Billboard Hot 100 presence. To make matters worse, people started to clown him after he posted a picture mistakenly thinking he was trending on Apple Music. Instead, he only saw himself in his recent search history. Things didn't get any better the following year either, because on September 11th, 2021, Famous Dex reportedly was charged with multiple accounts of domestic violence and 19 counts of gun possession. He was set to 364 days in jail, with him receiving time served for the time he's already spent in jail, thus causing his release to be on November 24th, 2021. Upon his release, he decided to drop 2 more music videos, being Dehydrated and Beehive, both doing decent numbers. Then on June 1st, 2022, Dex tweeted out that he is 5 months sober, with him going back into rehab once again after being released from jail, according to a TMZ article. Thankfully, in the modern day, Famous Dex has fully become sober, with him announcing in an interview with TMZ in April of last year.
I'm not doing drugs no more. I've been drug clean for 11 months. I'm happy and healthy.
He would also explain in another interview that the amount of money he was earning aided to his addiction.
The drug addiction started when I started getting all the money. When the money started coming in good, I can support my habit. It wasn't because no yes men's around me. It wasn't because of none of that. I had people around me begging me to put that shit down.
Happily, it is nice to see that he realized this issue and went back to focusing on his career. As of March 2024, he has been gearing up to drop his next project, Stay Humble, by showing off multiple snippets. In fact, he recently dropped his latest single, You Shy Bitch, on his second channel, with him recently announcing he'll drop tomorrow at the time of me recording this video. It seems that Famous Dex has finally rekindled his passion for creating music. Hopefully one day, he'll reach the mainstream success he was once at. Famous Dex always had a drive for working hard on his craft, But what if someone is just lazy when having the opportunity of a lifetime? Lil Xan has always struggled in maintaining his work ethic, as it can be depicted as far back as his freshman year of high school, where he failed every class until he dropped out. Although a lot of successful artists fail in school to pursue their passion, this is so they can put in the work to reach the top of the rap game. However, this wasn't the case for Lil Xan when met with the chance to be at that level. In May of 2018, Nicholas Diego Leonos, or better known as Lil Xan, released his hit song Betrayal. This song took the world by storm, with it accumulating over 190 million views on YouTube as well as 595 million plays on Spotify. This track alone put Lil Xan's name in the conversation amongst other emo rappers that were blowing up at the time. Off the success of Betrayal, it was only right for Lil Xan to capitalize and boost his career further into new heights, which is what Xan should have done because he couldn't inflate his career following Betrayal. This is because Xan never showed up to any meetings with other artists and recording sessions for his debut project that his manager Stat Crow kept setting up. By not arriving at these meetings, he would only prevent himself from collaborating with other rappers as well as receiving little to no promotion for any of his upcoming work. This would only worsen too because instead of focusing on recording music for his tape, he would go to parties, invite girls to his house, or simply do drugs.
If it was up to Stat, Xan would have been sitting in the studio recording every fucking night, and instead he was just doing drugs and having random ass girls come over every night.
Lil Xan eventually decided to drop his debut studio album, Total Xanarchy, on April 6, 2018. This project immediately got trashed online, with it being extremely clear that he put no effort into it. In fact, according to many, Betrayal ended up being the only memorable track. Rather than involving his career from the success he gained, he decided to leave his fans in the dust, thus causing the quality of his music to plummet, which resulted in him losing fans. Now, when it comes to the money aspect of his career, it was pretty apparent that the success from Betrayal was making most of his earnings. With this being the case, it would be smart for Xan to invest money into building out his brand, in which he stated in an interview how he doesn't spend anything on materialistic things.
Do you go crazy hard with expensive clothes and jewelry and ridiculous bullshit, or do you hold on to it? What's going on in your lives right now?
I'm not into the whole jewelry, flashy shit.
He instantly backtracked on the statement by purchasing chains, a $140,000 G-Wagon, 3 apartments in LA, and an obsessive amount of designer clothing. The way he was living was obviously something he couldn't afford. To make the situation even more disastrous, Xan posted videos of himself keying his brand new G-Wagon, ruining his designer clothing with them laying on the floor, purchasing video games, and breaking his flat screen TV. At this point, Lil Xan had no clue on how to take care of the things he owns. In fact, it seems as much as he spent on an object, he ended up doubling the amount of money lost by destroying it. He would even clarify how broke he was by asking for brand deals within the same video of him destroying his possessions. Realizing this, Xan needed a way to earn his money back, and with his rap career slowly declining, it was only right for him to think that he was turning into more of an internet icon than being a rapper. With this idea in mind, Xan decided to set up a poorly managed meet and greet, which resulted in many damages, by having cars and the street being severely damaged from 2,000 people, alongside having the police come in their cars and helicopters to safely retrieve Xan from the site of the meet and greet. This event went the complete opposite direction to what Lil Xan had in mind. Due to all this happening, Xan then revealed while on the No Jumper podcast that he had to pay $100,000 in fines for the damages that was caused. Now losing another 100K, Lil Xan's image as a quote-unquote internet celebrity slowly dwindled by him coming off as a patronizing kid. To further conclude this ideology, he would state his opinion about the rapper Tupac in an interview with Revolt.
The born music.
Although he simply gave his perspective on Tupac's music, it's the way he described it is what caused him to appear as an ignorant kid. After all, being a 22-year-old young adult heavily involved with drugs with face tats and blowing up from the SoundCloud scene, it didn't make the older generation any more fond of him, thus causing a public outrage to emerge online, with him even leaving some rappers agitated by his comment. This controversy only increased when he got into an argument about the Tupac statement with someone at a gas station. This person evidently pulled out their phone and started to record the young artist. Due to this, Lil Xan would impulsively pull out his gun, then went out to start yelling racial slurs at them. Following this altercation, the police investigated Lil Xan for assault with a deadly weapon. From then on, Lil Xan's numbers slowly started to deplete, due to people not messing with his reckless personality. The distaste for Lil Xan didn't stop here though, because on December 29th, 2021, he blamed his manager for supplying him with the drugs.
My manager was supplying me with the drugs. He knew all my plugs, so if I couldn't perform because I was withdrawing back then, because yes, I used to be a drug addict, and he's gonna act like he didn't do that, I'm really feeling like I should take him to court, right? Because that was the time I almost died from the drug.
Even though his manager was in the wrong for giving him drugs, This video only portrayed Lil Xan for not taking accountability for his own drug abuse. At the end of the day, he is the one who started doing drugs in the first place. This would cause Adam22 to have a say on the matter on his No Jumper podcast, with him questioning how he was able to get drugs before knowing his manager. This was a pretty reasonable question since Lil Xan was making it seem as if Stat Quo is the one who got him addicted. Due to all of this transpiring, many would start to claim that Lil Xan is a snitch. He then responded to this by explaining that you can't snitch if you're not a gang member. Within the same video where he called out his manager, Xan would claim that his label only kept him alive to produce hit songs.
They just want to keep you alive long enough to make their fucking money, and if you die, even better for them, because guess what? It's easier to manage a dead artist than an alive one.
After crashing out over several years, in modern times, Lil Xan decided to reshape his life. Firstly, admitting himself into a psych ward, which was followed by entering rehab, thus causing the SoundCloud artist to be sober for the past 2 years. He fully changed his money spending habits alongside acquiring a new healthy mindset. This caused him to save up to purchase a brand new house where he's currently residing. Now, it looks like Lil Xan has become a fully responsible person, whereas before he was an arrogant, unaccountable, and an annoying kid. Although all of this happened, what exactly was going on with his music? Well, for starters, Total Xanarchy is still his only album to this date, with him dropping multiple EPs and singles until 2021, where he stopped to seemingly rebuild his life. To which, more recently, he has dropped a couple of singles that are doing fairly well. Lil Xan is preparing to release his sophomore studio album later this year, ultimately showing that even though Xan had the chance to capitalize on his success back then, he still has the opportunity to do so now. By having his major hit gain tons of success, Lil Xan not taking the opportunity to develop his career is what universally led him to ruin his profession. But what exactly happens when your hit record is the same reason why you can't progress within your career? Tay K would start rapping with his friends Pimps and Santana Sage when they were teens. They eventually began to call themselves the Daytona Boys, with their early works tracing as far back as 2014. During their come up, they would perform at multiple shows, in which after one of their shows, they would meet an unfortunate situation. The Daytona Boys would break up following a New Year's bash when Santana Sage got imprisoned for murdering a college student. Tay K and Pimps would also be involved within the incident, but didn't receive any consequences since they were minors at the time. From this moment on, it would be very evident on what type of life Tay K was living. This would lead into a robbery that took place in 2016. The theft would be set on a house in Mansfield, Texas. Tay K, along with 6 others, planned to rob the owner of the house that was Zachary below, with the plotting being led by Zach's girlfriend at the time. This plan consisted of her inviting 2 other women over to his house to chill. While the 3 women were conversating with Zach, Tay K along with 4 other dudes would be waiting outside the house for a notification on when to barge in. Once they sent the text message, the girls would unlock the front door to the house, allowing for the boys to come in. Tay K and Pimps would be amongst the 4, with the others being Lotharian Merritt and Sean Robinson. As they began trashing the place, they soon realized that they were not stealing as much as they were promised. While they were robbing the house, Lotharian and Sean would hold Zach along with his friend Ethan Walker at gunpoint. Sean would accidentally pull the trigger, causing Zach's shoulder to be wounded. Startled by the unsuspecting shots from Sean, Lotharian would end up shooting his gun at Ethan Walker, thus killing him. Following these shots, Tay K and the rest of the crew immediately ran out the house, thus having the crime end up with 1 dead and 1 wounded. The police quickly discovered the felons associated with the altercation, universally causing Tay K and the 6 others to be arrested and taken in for questioning. In the footage of Tay K being questioned, you can see him crying while confessing about the robbery. He then stated how he never had a deadly weapon on him, nor knew anyone was going to be killed. Tay K was then sentenced to 2 weeks of juvenile detention. After his release, he'd recently turned 16 and live in his sister's newly purchased apartment while on house arrest. Around this time, he would log in and record multiple tracks with him dropping them on SoundCloud, thus having him tweet on January 31st, 2017 asking if people can pull up to him to record at his house. Tay K would then stay at his sister's apartment for the next 8 months until he lashed out. He tweeted on March 26, 2017 noting that, "Fuck this house arrest shit, they gon' have to catch me." Following this, Tay K decided to hit up pumps for the both of them to remove their ankle monitors and go on the run. They distinctly laid low in San Antonio, Texas for the next 3 weeks. As they were in San Antonio, Pimps began DMing a photographer named Mark Saldivar so they could take pictures. However, Pimps had a hidden agenda to rob Mark since him and Tay K needed money. They then arranged to meet at 5 PM near a parking garage. Mark then arrived at the scene, to which he decided to get in the car with Tay K and Pimps. As he entered the car, they began robbing him and pushed him out of the automobile. Right after he fell out of the vehicle, Mark started running and crying out for help. In attempting to prevent Mark from getting anyone's attention, the two tried to run him over. He ended up being on the hood of the car. They then parked at a Chick-fil-A parking lot to remove him off the car. Once the car came to a halt, Saldivar stood up and stomped on the windshield, causing it to be destroyed. An aggravated Tay K then responded by supposedly leaning out the window with his gun and began shooting at him, causing Mark to lose his life. Soon after, the San Antonio police identified Tay K and Pimps as the perpetrators within the crime. To escape from them, the two went on a car ride for about a day to New Jersey. Heading out to New Jersey was a calculated move too, because they had friends that would offer them a place to stay, in which one of their friends knew how to work a camera and allowed them to record a music video for free. At this point, a major marketing opportunity sparked in Tay K's mind. It is now June and Tay K recently released his new song, The Race, describing his journey of fleeing law enforcement, with him reinforcing the idea that he didn't beat the case but did the race. Just a day later, they recorded the music video for the song, but didn't drop it just yet. Instead, Tay K had a different intention when wanting to release the video, since he knew that the US Marshals were onto his whereabouts. On June 30th, 2017, Tay K would officially be seized by the US Marshals. Tay K's hidden agenda would fully be revealed when he dropped the music video for the race on the same day. Within the video, Tay K is pictured smoking in front of his wanted poster and toting weapons, overall dissing the law in the most disrespectful way possible. Due to this and the story behind the track, it quickly blew up, racking millions of views, prompting many to react to the single as well as getting the attention of diamond record artist Travis Scott. The song eventually landed on the 44th spot on Billboard and became certified platinum. Due to all the attention the race was receiving, it caused #FreeTayK to trend on Twitter. Although he was being tried as an adult at 17 years old, the public was still gravitating towards his music. So naturally, numerous record labels were trying to sign him even though he was being tried for 2 murders, thus concluding the record label 88 Classic to sign him on December 17th, 2017, with them rapidly releasing a mixtape called Santana World. The tape would include the remix for The Race featuring 21 Savage and Young Nudy. This project would also go on to perform very well, with it peaking at the 128th spot on Billboard, along with acquiring 100 millions of streams on Spotify. Now, if it wasn't clear enough, The Race became one of the highlights of 2017. It put Tay K's name on the map within his generation, and also would be dubbed as one of the only hit songs to not be performed live. Even though he was gaining all this success, Tay K would only make things worse for himself. For starters, whilst in jail, he would get into multiple conflicts with other inmates, selling drugs, getting caught with a cell phone, as well as attempting to dispose of it, and threatening guards. This caused him to move into solitary confinement with maximum security. Tay K couldn't stop here though, because this didn't stop him from posting a picture of himself on Twitter. Fast forwarding to 2018, where they began to sentence everyone that was present during Ethan's passing. One of the girls, identified as Megan Holt, was sentenced to 20 years in prison for aggravated robbery, while Zach's girlfriend at the time assisted the police, which caused her to be given 10 years of probation. Then, Lothari and Mira would end up with life in prison without parole after being named a gunman. Things wouldn't look any better for Tay K after he was denied bond for Lotharian's sentence. The judge claimed that the reason behind this decision is because the court has an issue with people supporting Tay K, universally depicting how the success and popularity that came from the race wasn't making his sentence any easier. Then in June of 2018, Tay K was being sued by the parents of Mark Saldivar for $1 million. A month later, the parents of Ethan Walker and Zachary Below were suing him for another $1 million in profits from his hit song. If that wasn't enough, Adam22 would do an exclusive interview with Tay K over the phone. Within this interview, Tay K accidentally revealed that he had an iPad hidden on him in his jail cell.
I got a tablet, I got an iPad, I'll be listening to music in his home.
Days following this incident, Tay K would be shaken down with the guards finding the iPad in his cell, thus having him pay a $10,000 fine. Adam22 did feel guilty about the whole situation, but claimed that Tay K never asked him to remove the part where he talks about the iPad.
I did like a 10-minute interview on the phone, and the really unfortunate thing about that is that Tay K gets thrown in solitary or whatever like a couple of days later, because the management did not ask me to remove the part where he talked about having an iPad.
As the Ethan Walker case was coming to a close, the third girl involved, named Ariana Barrett, was sentenced to 25 years after agreeing to testify against the remaining 3 felons. Shortly after, Sean Robinson pled guilty, which led him to be sentenced to 40 years in prison. This left Pimps and Tay K, the 2 childhood friends, waiting to be sentenced for 2 different crimes. After refusing to testify against Tay K, Jalen Bell, aka Pimps, pled guilty to 2 counts of aggravated robbery for the case of Ethan Walker and Mark Saldivar. thus causing him to be sentenced to 30 years in prison. Tay K was now the last person waiting for his trial to commence. Then in July 2019, the trial began, with Tay K pleading guilty for aggravated robbery but not murder. His defense claimed that since he was a minor with little to no involvement in the situation, he was innocent. However, the plaintiff utilized lyrics from the race against Tay K to portray how unremorseful he was. The jury easily made up their minds, with the trial only lasting a week, by having the jury unanimously find Taymor McIntyre, better known as Tay K, guilty, sentencing him to 55 years in prison for murder and aggravated robbery. It's now 2024, and Tay K is 23, expressing how he needs one chance at adulthood. After all, according to him, he was an ill-advised child that didn't grow up in the right environment. However, this doesn't excuse the fact that he committed all these heinous crimes and should be punished for it. Although Tay K had a taste of being on top of the rap scene, his unjustifiable acts puts him rightfully behind bars. To finally conclude the video, whether it was due to their own self-destructive behavior or their intolerable actions, each of these artists had the world watching them at one point in time. It is best to know that two of them are healthier now than before, with the other serving the time that he deserves. If there is anything to take away from this video, is that don't let your actions prevent you from where you can currently be.